So my aunt actually went to the high school that's the epicenter of this story. She was Sister Cathy's student. She was her 10th grade English teacher. And she was also a classmate of the woman in our series who's known as Jane Doe, who's putting her face and name on Jane Doe in the series. Her name's Jean Wayner. My aunt found out about 3 years ago that one of her friends was Jane Doe. She had no idea that her friend had gone through this, and she connected me with Jean. I flew out to Baltimore 3 years ago, began having a lot of back and forth meetings with Jean off camera to decide if this would be the next best step for her. And when she decided to do it, I signed on to do it as well. I definitely think it was, I think it was my leg in. I think access is key in documentaries, and the fact that my aunt knew a lot of these key players, and my mom as well. My mom's from a big Catholic family in Baltimore. The fact that they knew a lot of these women, I think, helped the trust factor. Jean is a very careful, deliberate person, and so although my aunt knew her, she still put me through the ringer before deciding to do this. Her story has been silenced for so long, and she's suffered in silence that I think she's understandably wary about sharing it anymore. And so she really had to test me before she would decide to do it. They were long conversations at her dining room table, 5, 6 hours, understanding what she had gone through. You know, the only thing I ever knew about Jane Doe was that was all on paper. So I knew that she said that she had been taken to see Sister Cathy's body. I knew that she was alleging that she had gone through this unthinkable abuse. And those stories on paper, I think, are somewhat unbelievable. And I was one of those people. I remember saying to my aunt, like, is this woman credible? Is she normal? And the first time I met with Jean, it was 5 hours at her dining room table, and I left with my producer, and we looked at each other and we said, this woman's telling the truth, and we need to be a part of this. No, she's, yeah, she was just kind of the inroad. It's so interesting because even my family has had stories come out since I've begun making this, and you realize how these crimes really can affect the trajectory of someone's entire life without you knowing it. So my aunt, I never knew that she had a teacher that died, but I now know that it affected her entire life. And she wasn't an abuse victim, so you can imagine the pain that it inflicted on the people who were directly affected by Cathy or Cathy's loved ones.